Hello, this is Alex. I'm the founder of I Love Cards. In this tutorial, I'm going to show you how to build a very simple card template. It's simple, but it's exactly the same design I use for my AI Tinker's cards I've used in dozens of AI workshops and training. So this tutorial is perfect if you're just getting started with I Love Cards. The first thing I'm going to do is create some dummy content so that I can design my template with data that actually makes sense. And to do that, you're going to use a spreadsheet that I'm giving you. The link is in the description. So open the Google Sheet. You're going to select all the data and copy it. You can use Ctrl+C or go to the Edit menu and click on Copy. Once you have the data in your clipboard, you go back to I Love Cards. You open your studio and you go into the deck editor. You're going to click on Import, and you're going to paste your spreadsheet data here, Ctrl+V, and the system should recognize the different columns. Click on Next, and then you'll have to wait a moment while the AI does its job. And then you should see the first card appear. You can have a look at the second. Everything's looking all right. So click on Next again. And then you can just create your deck. Et voilà, we have our first set of cards. Good enough content to create any template. The only thing that is missing are icons. So you're going to go to Edit Deck, open the Action tabs, and click on Batch Icon Suggestions. But we want emojis for this style and design of template. So emoji suggest icons for deck. You may need to wait a little bit for all the emojis to be picked by the AI. Some of them, like this one, might be missing, but it's really not a problem because we are just creating this deck as a way to have some good-looking data. It's always better to have some good-looking data. So let's have a look. Done. Yep, it's done. And you have a notification here that it has been done and one of them has failed, but again, we don't care about that. What I care is that you don't forget to save, so click on the Save button. Now we are ready to create the template. So you're going to exit the deck builder and you're going to go to My Templates. Here you see all the public templates, all your personal templates if you have already created some. There are also several preview modes, and I want to make sure that we all preview with the same data, which is the card deck that we have just created, and you can pick a card to start with. All right. So for example, I'm going to take the first one, relationship oriented and casualness, and we're going to preview the template with this card. Now click on Create empty template. This gives us a blank template so we can start from scratch. And I'm in the template editor and I'm previewing an empty card. The first thing I do is choose the right card format. Because the AI Tinker's cards, it uses a landscape orientation. So I'm going to do that here and change the orientation. And then I'm gonna pick the jumbo short deck, this one. You see that the ratio is a little bit different. In my experience, this jumbo short format is a great site for workshop and training cards. All right, now let's add content to the card. Everything is going to go into the same section. Click on Add Element and add the category title. This one. And now we're going to do the same with all the elements that we need in this card. We need the emoji, the card icon. We need the title of the card. And we need the one-liner. Category one-liner. This one. So now that's it. We have all the content, all the main content that we need. If you want to unselect, right now the one-liner is selected. If you want to unselect, just click outside the card. Good, now let's talk about colors. In I Love Cards, there's a special concept that is called the primary color. You can define a color per card, per category, or for the whole deck. And the most common setup, and the one that I use for the AI Tinker's cards, is that I have one primary color per category. For example, here, the relationship cards have a primary color of blue, and the task card have a dark blue, and the change card have a red primary color. Okay? What we want here is a kind of a reverse of what we have by default. We want to have a background that follows the category color and a text. The text, we want it to switch between black and white to have the best contrast possible. And you can do that very simply in I Love Cards. Let me show you. To do that, you need to select the section. So make sure that you click on an empty area. Don't click here, because here I select the title. Click here, and you can see that the section is selected. All right, the section is selected. So now you have a toolbar, and in the toolbar you can select the background color, and I want you to select this little gradient here, except that it's not a gradient, it's the way that you are telling pick the primary color. As you can see, red, because we are into the change-oriented category. And here, when I am in the relationship-oriented category of my cards, it's blue. Then, click again on the section for the text now. For the text color, you select the black and white swatch. This automatically picks the best contrast color in between the primary color and black or white. So you see, now I have a default color for the text, all the text items that are going to be inside the section. Now I'm going to set the fonts. For the AI Tinkers cards, I use pop-ins everywhere. So I'm going to do that. Of course, you can have some fun and select some more fancy fonts. Pop-ins for the title. Click outside. Click on the element. Pop-ins for the one-liner. Now, we need to adjust the sizes. So I'm going to select the title and put it much bigger. Something like that, 6.3. I'm going to do the same for this one, and maybe the category title should be smaller. By the way, for the category label, I want a small reversed tag effect. So, as you can see, I select it. And I'm going to set the background to the contrast color. Background color, and again, this weird contrast color. All right, of course, now I need to select the text color, and I'm going to use the dynamic primary color. Blue in this case, but obviously, if I change the category to change, it's going to be red. Now we want this text to breathe a little bit. So I select it, padding, and I'm going to add a little bit of padding so that the text can breathe inside the box. Almost good. I just want to add a little bit of corner radius. Not a lot, I just want to cut. You see? I just want to cut the corners like that. All right. Finally, I can fine-tune the text style, remove the italic here. I absolutely need to augment the size of the icon. In Isle of Cards, an icon is just like text. You can just select the icon and modify the size like you would do with text. I think we need something like that. Yes, let's have a look with another card. Looks good. Here, I want this also to be in caps and maybe a little bit smaller now. Like that. If you don't like, I made some tests, by the way. My first version was like that with the category title on top, but finally in the next version I put it here. I think it could be a little bit bigger. Voila. And this could be maybe a little bit smaller. Let's have a look and preview different cards to make sure that it looks good with different variability of content. This one doesn't have any emoji. Yeah, looks fine. The only thing that I don't like is that I want to adjust spacing. Right now, all the gaps in between all the elements are identical, which is kind of fine for the text, but I would like a little bit more space in between the text content and the emoji. To do that, I'm going to add a separator between the icon and the category title. Add element. This one is right at the bottom, separator. I need to put it in between the emoji and the category title. I'm going to drag and drop. Voila. Let me see. Now I think that the gap is too wide and I also want this gap to be smaller. So in order to adjust the normal gap between the elements of a section, you select the section, you have a toolbar, gap and padding, and here I can modify the gap. Now I like it better that way. And here this gap is bigger because of the separator, and you can fine-tune the settings of the separator, the margin before the separator, the margin after. I'm going to just put the margin after to 0 and just add a little bit like that. Maybe it's a little bit not enough gaps. Yeah, like that better. I think now it looks good. Again, I'm gonna see it with, preview it with different cards. Yep, the cards looks good. Don't forget to hit save. What you can do also is change the name of the template, because right now it's called new template. You're gonna have a lot of new templates, so call this one tutorial 1 and save again. Now you can quickly assign it to your deck. Go back to my decks, select the deck that you have just created, and instead of the default template, we can now pick a deck, select the one we have just created, et voila. Maybe preview it like that. Stability cards, task cards, and change oriented, ready to print. Download the decks, home printing, maybe make sure that you have the jumper short deck. You can print it with or without gaps. I like cut guides like that. Export to PDF. I'm gonna open it. Et voilà. That was your first tutorial. There is a lot more you can do in I Love Cards. This covers maybe like 5% of what's possible, but it's a solid foundation and a template that you can reuse for many training decks. See you in the next tutorial. Bye bye.